And we are live. Hello and welcome everyone. You guys are watching Esports and Information. My name is Harsh. Slightly early in the morning today. Let's see what do we have. What headlines do we have today to react to? So I would suggest you grab your coffee, grab your tea, whichever is the choice of your beverage, and tune into our live streams every day. And let's see what do we have to react for today. Let me just share my screen first of all, so it makes us easier for us. There are many things that happened. The French election was a rather surprise for those of you who follow international politics. Let me. How do I do? Okay. Hmm, how do I do this? Okay. First of all, just let me share this on X. You'll see some written articles on X from today onwards. So watch out our account on X if you really like the written content. And yeah, so, so I need to share this one with this one. Okay, so we can start. Let me just. Okay, I am hoping that this is visible to you guys on your screen. Our Twitter, our X feed. It should be there. It should be there. Let me just confirm it, because sometimes it happens so that I may be presenting a screen. It might not be visible to you guys on the live stream, and I'll just keep on ranting and reacting about things that you cannot see on screen. So it wouldn't make any sense. So it's good to be precautious. Yes, it's here. Okay. Let me just. Okay. It's there. It's there. It's there. So let's see. What do we have for us to react? The markets regulator, Securities and Exchange Board, has issued a show cause notice to Hindenburg for the early leak of a critical report on the Adani Group to New York based hedge fund manager Mark Kingdom. Now, there are a lot of things that are coming out of this Hindenburg controversy. Uh, uh, like, it's pretty much clear for all of us that the Hindenburg research report that was published, it was specifically published to, put someone down, and that someone in this case is Adani. All right, so there are these reports. They are published by these private companies. Uh, these are not state or government companies. Not that being a state or government company would raise their level of authenticity. No, it's not like that. But still, when it is from a government body, there is some degree of accountability attached to it. Because if a sovereign state or a sovereign nation is publishing a report, it has to be done with a certain sense of responsibility. But in this case, the Hindenburg report was published and it's a private group. For those of you who don't know, Hindenburg is a private group. It has its own self interests. And there is one more thing, SEBI. Okay, they've issued a show cause notice to Hindenburg, and for the early leak of a critical report to a New York based hedge fund manager, Mark Kingdon. Okay, so before putting that report out in the public domain, the Hindenburg report that was done specifically to bring down Adani Group. So why was it leaked earlier to this company, New York-based hedge fund manager Mark Kingdon? Okay, another batch of 5083 pilgrims left Bhagwati Nagar Yatri Niwas base camp in Jammu for the Kashmir Valley to perform the pilgrimage to Amarnath Cave Shrine. All right, so somewhere close to, yeah, so there have already been close to 20,000 pilgrims have already crossed this base camp. Now another batch of 5803 pilgrims left Bhagwati Nagar. Okay. National Testing Agency has released answer keys for the Common University Entrance Test undergraduate. Blah blah blah. Quite frankly, after this neat saga, I have uh, you know, uh, somewhat lost faith in the ability of government and for that matter anybody. Like conduction of exams in our country is like a farce, I would say. Um, so this time it was this time that people involved in it got caught. People involved in it could not get away with it, and hence we are thinking, no, this is a one time thing. What if this is an every time thing, and this time it was just an exception? This time it was their bad luck that they got caught. We don't exactly know. All right, so it's going to take a while for people to again trust these testing bodies. In Uruguay, a fire that occurred in a nursing home in a city of this caused 10 deaths. Uruguay, it's a footballing country. Mm, yep, it's a footballing country. In South America, there is a fire over there in a nursing home, no less. Okay, okay. We can understand fires at social places, at places where, um, people stay, but this is slightly different. Okay. The Hemant Soren government will seek vote in Jharkhand Legislative Assembly today. All right, for those of you who don't know, Hemant Soren was the ex chief minister. Then he went to jail. Then he put there some of the other person from the same community, Champai Soren. Now that he is out of jail, that he has been, I wouldn't exactly say exonerated, but the court has said that there is no involvement from his side. So now that he's out from jail, he has again staked his claim to form the government in the Jharkhand. This is a very good example of people keep using this word nepotism, nepotism. It's everywhere. Okay, it's not just limited to the cinema industry that we have. Each and every profession you see out there, you'll have a component of nepotism in it, because in the end, if you are required to relinquish the position that you have, you would want that position to fall into the hands of a close one, a person whom you can trust more than a stranger, and that person would be your immediate family member. So it was Champai Soren who was occupying the seat of chief minister for Jharkhand while Hemant was in jail. Now that he is out from jail, he has again staked claim. So yeah, and there was some for the second and decisive round of snap legislative election has concluded. There isn't exactly a clear indication about this, but a majority of the people are saying that it is Emmanuel Macron who has pulled off a last-minute win. So we will know, but currently there are a lot of protesting going on the streets of France. I don't know for what reason. It's just because you're upset because a certain political party didn't win the election, and hence you protest on the streets. It's yeah, it's a paradoxical democracy that Western European countries have. You are allowed to protest in a democracy, so hence you protest against a democratically elected government. Crazy Europeans. A women's cricket match between Bharat and South Africa has been called off due to rain at the MA Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai. All right, all right. Women's cricket, I don't follow a lot of women's cricket. That does not mean that it is not relevant. It is relevant for the people who follow it. And sports, I would say, sports is largely a male bastion, and I'm not making that comment as a chauvinist or as a misogynist or whatever labels that you want to put on me. But uh, sports, and more so the competitive sports, and even in that, uh, so sports are largely the male bastion. There are some sports where women have definitely, registered their presence, such as Olympics. Okay, in athletics and Olympics, all those activities. Definitely, there is considerable female presence. But when you come into competitive sports, it is largely female males who have managed to grab the attention. Okay, don't worry, there are beauty contests. There are other realms where females are far out competing males. So it's an even game at the end of the day. It's an even game. Avinash Sable sets a new national record in 3,000-meter steeplechase at the Paris Diamond League in France. Yep, yep. So there is this argument out there that since you have a population of 1 billion, how is it that your Olympic performances are so dismal? Because we hardly, if at all, we win only single digit gold medals. We do win bronze and silver a lot, but it's not like we dominate these competitions such as Olympics. And don't we have fast runners? Yes, we do have fast runners. Don't you have athletic people? Yes, we do have athletic people. I guess the problem is largely at the grassroots level. um, from the very if you want to take up athletics, or if you want to take up any sport for that matter as a career choice or as a career option, you need to start very early. And as early as, let's say, when you are 14 or 15. And here, when you are in Bharat, when you are 14 or 15, you are contemplating which subjects would you want to study for your grade 11 or grade 12. And majority of the parents want their children to get formal education, because there is this belief, up to a certain extent false belief, that it is only formal education that can guarantee a good future. And so far I don't see that mentality changing. Okay, so if we are to become a sporting powerhouse nation, all right, we need to groom athletes at the very grassroots level. That is when they are 14 or 15. That is when they decide. And there are people out there, I guess you'll see many people in your day-to-day lives who have who are still who's still living in the hope after giving majority of their life to a sport, and they're still living in the hope that one day they'll get to play at the level that they desire. And cricket is just one example out there. You see, there are many players waiting in the academies, waiting at the Ranji level, to just be able to represent or wear that blue jersey on an international platform. But yes, since the population is too much, and there are too many competitors for one single spot, and number two as well, there is one more reason: there are only few sports that pull spectators in our country. Although we classify hockey as a national sport, it does not pull as many numbers as cricket. All right. So um, I would say, yeah, sports definitely requires a major revisitation. How exactly are you going to bring up sports? Because it is important. It is important. The Prime Minister will embark on a 3 day official visit to Russia and Austria. In his first leg of his visit, Modi will be in Moscow for the 22nd annual summit between Bharat and Russia. All right, he's going to be go to Russia first. So today, I think he'll already must have landed in Moscow. He and Putin are very good friends, I would say. But then again, on an international level, you can never say who is your friend or who is your adversary, because these leaders, they strictly talk about self-interest. They put the interests of the country first. That is exactly what they are supposed to do. So having personal bonds, having personal preferences on such an international level, it's very difficult to have those things. So yes, he is on a tour to Russia and Austria. It's interesting to note that I guess after a very very long time, a prime minister from Bharat is going to visit Austria. Okay, okay. So we'll see what is he going to do over there. He in Austria, he address business leaders, interact with the members of the community in Vienna for a diaspora. All right, there are people in Russia, there are people in Australia that add Austria. I'm sorry, Austria, that add to the diaspora that we have. Afghanistan's central bank announced in a statement that it will inject $15 million into local markets to boost national currency Afghani. How are they getting this currency? Central bank announced it will inject $15 million into local market. So this is still just simply the sprint the currency. Do the Taliban know the nuances of economics? Okay. So they will inject $15 million into local markets. Okay. Okay. So the, I really don't know. I just want to put another piece of information right by it. Recently, there was a meeting in Doha between the officials of Taliban, USA. Bharat was also invited to that meeting in Doha, that was held in Doha. So you just put these two piece of information side by side and think about it. Okay, that is how you connect dots on international level. Next up is in Nepal, at least 15 more people have passed 2 days. IMD forecasts heavy to very heavy rainfall spell among west coast and many parts of northeast and east Bharat. All right, it's going to heavily, like I said. Indra has consolidated his presence over Bharat. For those of you who could not understand that, Indra is the god of rain, the god of thunder. Is more like a warlord, not like a god. But yeah, so now he is usually credited with allowing rains. So yeah, for those of you who like rains, do venture out. For those of you who are a corporate slave like me, who work a job, carry raincoats with you, or if you're lucky enough to have a four wheeler, don't just bother. Assam, okay. The situation in Assam is still very serious. Eight more people lose their lives during the last 24 hours, taking total number of flood-related deaths in the state to 66. I guess there is not much to be done over here because this is an every year thing. All that the government can do is minimize the damage, because the location, the geographical location of Assam is such, and the Brahmaputra River, I would say, it's it's an annual occurrence. Every year, you will see that during the monsoon season, Assam will be reeling under the problem of floods. Okay. But I guess still, this is a very high number. 66 is a very high number. The flood situation in the state has improved slightly, but nearly 22 lakh people are still reeling under the deluge across 28 districts. So here is what happens in Assam. The river Brahmaputra is, and the tributaries and distributaries of Brahmaputra, they usually overflow, and many people have to be evacuated, like wholesome villages. People from the whole, like the entire village has to relocate because the entire village gets flooded. It's the geography of that part is such. All right, so I guess your best bet over here in Assam is to strengthen the damage control mechanisms. Make sure you save as many lives as you can and try to bring down this number, because 66 is still a very high number. The Congress leader Rahul Gandhi to visit Manipur on July 8, during which he plans to meet families affected by recent violence residing in various camps. All right, we can see that uh, you know, after winning 99 seats, the India Alliance have definitely reignited the spark that they can indeed overpower BJP. Earlier, since the last two elections, they had been defeated, but they had also been uh, morally down. That their morale was an all-time low because they never thought they could win elections. But this time around, bolstered by the win in UP, Rahul Gandhi, he is visiting Manipur. Um, he's visiting Manipur, and let's see. In short, Rahul Gandhi, what he's doing is he's creating content. All right, so that makes him our competitor. All right, so wishing you all the best, Rahul Gandhi. Uh, you have a good time in Manipur. Maharashtra, Sindhudurg, and Ratnagiri districts have been experiencing a flood like situation due to heavy rainfall since yesterday. Heavy rains have severely affected vehicular traffic in the district. Sindhudurg and Ratnagiri districts. All right. Due to heavy rainfall. I guess if you live in an urban settlement, the drainage in urban settlements are usually better compared to the rural settlements. So if it rains too much in an urban area, it shouldn't be a problem because they have proper draining channels. But if it rains too much on an area that is semi-urban or rural, for that matter, I guess then it there are also ways of drainage in rural areas as well, because you have ponds and rivers. But once they tend to overflow, and once they go above a certain level, there is no place for you to go other than just relocate. And Maharashtra, I guess, let's see, do the things get bad, and are there flood like situations in Maharashtra as well, as you can see, it's pouring cats and dogs over there. Okay, a 5-member delegation from the Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances arrived in Colombo today for a 3-day visit. The delegation, led by Secretary and DG of the National Center for Good Governance, okay, will engage in discussions on capacity building programs for Sri Lankan civil servants and potential signing of long term MOU for these initiatives. The agenda includes outlining a roadmap for future collaborations and exchanging insights on effective governance practices. All right, all right. Capacity building programs for Sri Lankan civil servants. I guess there are people from Bhutan and Nepal that also train alongside, the all the trainee IAS and IPS officers. So we train people from Bhutan and Nepal as well in civil services. I guess now there are also expanding the scope where where you can also see that there will be some Sri Lankan civil servants. They will also be training alongside the newly you know newly inducted civil servants in our country. I guess um, bureaucracy is definitely necessary. I'm not saying that we do not need bureaucracy. Obviously, we'll need people who can do these tiring paperwork and all the hammering out all the nuances and details. We definitely need these people, but I am of the opinion that it should be kept at the bare minimum. The more you let the individual spirit, more you let the you know I guess individual spirit is not the correct word. I would say more you let the individualic tendencies of citizens to flourish. So how would you do that? You would decrease the layers of bureaucracy there are. If you uh, you might have already experienced this. Why does everything related to government has to be so complicated? If you visit a website, any central government, union government, or even state government website for that matter, it will be unnecessarily very much complicated through different types of procedures. Why can't it be very simple? So I would really wish that someday it might be very simple, not be as difficult and as complicated it is right now. Okay. Take RTI for example. If you want to file RTI online, there are like layers of processes and forms that you need to fill. Okay. Union Culture and Tourism Minister participates in the Jagannath Rath Yatra held in Haus Khas, Delhi. Union Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat says that the Lord Jagannath Rath Yatra brings the opportunity for people to connect through this journey. Yes, indeed, it does. It's a cultural thing, and good to see ministers, they are participating in such events. It simply just raises awareness amongst people that it is not uncool, okay, to participate in your own cultural events. All right. So yeah, never shy away from holding out your identity. Never shy away from standing for your culture. Never shy away from acknowledging, all right, what is yours, what belongs to you, because deep down there is an identity ingrained inside you, and no matter how far you run away from it, it still remains. Because you know what, you might not wish to identify as as a so and so person, okay, but the rest of the world will definitely identify you with that identification that you are running from. It is what it is. These things, you cannot change them. Okay. NIA arrested a key absconding accused in a narco terror nexus case of Jammu and Kashmir. Sayyid Salim Jahangir Andrabi, alias Salim Andrabi, has been on the run since 2020. Narco terror nexus case of Jammu and Kashmir. Narcotics. So it's a very basic for those of you who already follow these developments in the Union Territory of JNK, because JNK in itself is a very nice case study for insurgency, for people who are research journalists, people who are interested in these sort of things. JNK itself is a very good case study for insurgency and counter-terrorist studies. So, narco terror nexus, meaning that majority of the narcotics, like these illegal substances such as drugs, all right, they are sold, and the funding that is generated after selling of narcotics is used for terrorism purposes. All right, this is how it happens. And guess what? Where does that narco come from? Across the border. All right. So now the NIA, that is National Investigative Agency or Investigation Agency, they've arrested a fellow, Salim Jahangir, in a narco terror nexus case of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, it's usually it is the funding That is the major issue. Otherwise, everything else can be concealed, but you cannot conceal your funding. So NIA is hitting them where it hurts the most. So let's see, does anything else come out of this as well? Union Health Minister JP Nadda visited the AIMS Medical Sciences in Vijaypur. AIMS Jammu has become one of the best institutions in the country. He also announced that OPD services would start soon at the hospital and that efforts are underway to recruit more distinguished faculty. I would say yes. We definitely need to boost our academic infrastructure, be it AIMS, be it IITs as well. So it's good now that we see there are AIMS developing, and there are many. There is a place in Rajkot where a new AIMS has come up. So what did Okay. So now there is also an AIMS in Jammu. So it's good to see that there is a major boost in infrastructure development of academic institutions, because the pandemic was a very big learning point for many countries, not just us but for many countries, that we definitely need good doctors, and we need good doctors in very large numbers. So you can only get good doctors in very large numbers when you have such infrastructure. So yes, one more AIMS adding to the list of AIMS. Okay, the men in blue beat Zimbabwe by 100 runs to level the five match series 1-1. 234. It's a crazy score. Okay, they put up a 234 with 20 overs, and Zimbabwe. All right, they scored 134. All right, so I guess now it's even. The first match was uh, an embarrassing loss, an embarrassment for men in blue. The second match they have won, and now they have equaled the series 1-1. Zimbabwe is a very old cricketing nation, but they have not bounced back from the troubles that they have been having all this while. I guess the Zimbabwe as a team have never managed to come to the top of the cricketing world. Uh, be it due to many reasons. I guess they have had trouble with coaching, they have had trouble with sponsorship, funding, and whatnot. Because we have seen this frequently as well. Even the cricketing boards of Pakistan and Sri Lanka, they were also struggling to pay their team members for playing. Even Zimbabwe, for that matter. So cricket indeed is a cruel sport. I mean, the administration of cricket definitely is a cruel sport, because you need to pull certain amount of numbers, for sponsors to be interested in your team. Obviously, that is not an issue over here. BCCI is a cash rich body. It is the richest cricket board all across the world, and yep. So I guess these teams, they definitely are working hard. I'm not saying they're not working hard. Obviously, they are, but there are things that are not working in its favor. Hmm. Let's see. JNK, an army personnel, was injured when terrorists opened fire on a security post in a village in the frontier district of Rajouri in early hours. So they're living across civilian, like living amongst the civilians. That means are helping them. It's a very big red flag for the armed forces, because from what I see, 10 years, 20 years down the line, things are only going to get worse in JNK. It's not like one day there is going to be an end to the insurgency in JNK. We are just letting the problem fester by not taking any hardline steps. All right, and the more you delay it, okay, it's like a gangrene, I would say. The more you delay it, the more the infection will spread. Such as the territory of JNK. It's what, like, it's been how many, 7 decades, and even prior to that, the demographic changes in the state of JNK are happening post. They've always been happening. I'm not saying, but you know, from 1930 onwards, if you check JNK, that was, I guess, the demographic changes. They came out in the open, and they were more prominent. So now, what do we see? That you see, there is a certain image created of JNK. Whenever you imagine JNK, your imagination would run to the, Uh, get this, okay? If you're asked to project, if you're asked to imagine somebody from the state of JNK, immediately a burqa wearing woman and a bearded and a skull cap person will come to your mind. Okay, that is what narratives do to you. That is what misinformation and propagating lies on media will do to you. Okay, but it indeed is not true. So yes, there was a massive search operation that was launched by the security forces to track down the terrorists. They opened fire, and I guess they might have already been dealt with. It's just a matter of time till we scroll to the headline that says they have been killed. Prime Minister will embark on a 3 day Russia Austria. We already saw that. All right, Mahua Moitra. Okay, I guess there are some parliamentarians in our country who think that simply just speaking in English is their USP. Just because they can speak very well in the language of English, they think that they can get away with anything. All right, and I have listened to this person speak in the parliament multiple times. There is nothing to appreciate about her language as well. She is not a very graceful speaker, I would say. So Delhi police have lodged an FIR against TMC, Trinamool Congress, the same political party of Mamata Banerjee. Trinamool Congress MP Mahua Moitra for her social media comments against the National Commission for Women Chief Rekha Sharma. She's not even loyal to her tribe. All right, she's speaking things about, you know, about a woman. Okay, about woman who is standing up for women's rights at the national level. I don't exactly know what she has done on social media or what is this regarding, but definitely there are things that she has said in the parliament that I'm definitely not okay with, and you should definitely listen to her. Okay, I would really very much urge you people to do not take, whatever these media houses show you or whatever the articles they write. All these things, they are live telecasted, live streamed on the internet. Okay, these days even on YouTube. So if you would wish, you can hear these people inside the parliament, what they say, what they think, and then make your own judgment. Do not depend on any of the articles that you read at the media houses or in the newspapers. Just listen to them speak in the parliament, and you'll know what do they stand for. Okay, Uttarakhand, intermittent heavy rains continue in various parts of the state. Continuous rains in the mountainous region have increased the water level. Mhm. So I guess we discussed this yesterday as well. The Char Dham Yatra has also been, postponed. So yeah, there is a heavy rainfall, and Dev Bhumi as well, the land of the gods. That is Uttarakhand. Okay, world famous Jagannath Yatra begins in Puri. You'll see that there are people in large numbers who attend these things. The president, the first citizen of the nation, she is also attending the Rath Yatra. Tirumala Sri Venkateswara Swami with his family. You should. You should. Okay. Go to the temples. That is, whenever you are thinking about, like, I still remember when I was, when I was young, and when we had to make a decision as to where do we travel this summer vacations as a family. Okay. um, we did not plan a trip like to the hill station. We planned a trip to a temple. Okay. That has to be the norm. Okay, your next traveling trip has to be to a temple, any temple all across this land of Bharat. Okay. So organize your trips around a temple, then you first you go worship. Okay. And see, there is this increasing there is this increasing trend among people to take the English language as at its face value. I'll give you an example, and this has very well been articulated in the books by J. Sai Deepak in his Bharat Triology. One of the downfalls of adopting English as your language was that there are things that were translated. Okay, but they do not do justice to the meaning of the thing that was translated. For example, worship. Okay, worship for monotheistic people was simply just sitting inside a church and praying, or sitting inside a mosque and praying. For them, this is the meaning of worship. And since we call it puja in Sanskrit, and in Hindi, I'm not really sure, but since the word for that was puja over here, so we equate that together. Okay, worship and puja are both not same things. Okay, our process of worship involves a lot of things. Okay, there are things that you need to do, things that have certain effects on your mental tendencies. So do not equate worship and puja. So the next trip that you plan has to be to a temple, and then you can go and visit places nearby. Hmm. In billiards, Dhruv Sitwala clinched Asian Championship title. Congratulations, my friend. And Dhruv Sitwala defeated ace Indian quest and compatriot Pankaj Advani 5-2 in the final. All right. So he has, defeated the ace Indian quest Pankaj Advani. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Mohan Yadav and Union Minister participated in a tree plantation program in the BSF range in Indore, planting a tree in the memory of their mother under the resolution of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam campaign. Okay, it's a good thing. They're planting trees. We obviously cannot have enough trees, so it's good to see they're planting trees. Now it will be interesting to see how well are they taken care of, because just like everything else, trees also require a certain degree of nurturing while they're growing up. Once they are once they are all grown up, they don't require so much of nurturing, but definitely regular watering and all that is like growing a tree is really a responsibility. Tree is like growing a pet. Sorry, having a pet. Asian Double Squash Championship, Abhay Singh won both the men's doubles and mixed doubles title in Malaysia. Yeah, amazing. Draupadi Murmu arrives in Puri. Saw this yesterday to take the darshan of Lord Jagannath. Puri sets state for Jagannath Yatra. Okay, Chhattisgarh security forces arrested 5 Maoists from Sukma district. During a search operation, security team recovered 2 BGL cells, 9 detonators, 1 Tiffin bomb, and other material from the Maoists. Maoists, as the name suggests, Mao Zedong, the communist person from China. So they also want the same sort of dispensation that China has, that is communistic. They're working towards a communistic dispensation. They want to see a communist government, a communist society, and all across Bharat. And hence, they indulge in guerrilla warfare with the state functionaries, state armed forces as well. And now there are 5 Maoists that were caught from Sukma district. So like there are multiple threats out there. Okay. uh, Number one is obviously we have infiltration from all the borders. It's not like one of the borders is totally sealed. Okay, so on the western frontier, the border that we have with Pakistan is relatively less porous from Gujarat to Rajasthan. Okay, from Rajasthan and north onwards, it is more porous, and hence we see a lot of insurgency coming from across the border. The second threat that we have is these things, Maoists. Okay, so it definitely is a national security threat, Maoists, because they are. If you see what we are recovering from them is a tiffin bomb. There are 9 detonators. So we don't know what these guys are planning and how these guys are actually managing to fund these things. Where exactly are they getting weapons from? It's yes, the insurgency, the national, like these things. I would say they are it's a ticking time bomb. Supreme Court is scheduled to hear a batch of pleas related to NEET UG tomorrow, including those seeking a fresh examination. Okay, Supreme Court, the matter is sub judice. So, to hear a batch of pleas related to NEET UG tomorrow, including those seeking a fresh examination. Petitions filed by students demand a separate and independent investigation into alleged NEET irregularities. Let's see what the court has to say. The pre-budget consultations for the union budget 24-25, it started from 19th of last month, concluded on Friday. All right, so all the union budget negotiations, before presenting the remaining part of the budget, since there were elections this time around, only a part of budget was presented early on, before the elections, because we didn't exactly know, and that part was more like the default part. All right, there are some charges that are put on the consolidated national fund. Those things cannot be voted upon, such as the salaries of employees, salaries of Supreme Court and High Court judges, of the parliamentarians. So these things, they do not require voting; they are passed directly. So these parts that were supposed to pass by default, they were already passed uh, prior to election. Now that we know that the NDA has the necessary numbers to pass things from the parliament, so we'll see a union budget. I guess it is scheduled somewhere around. There is a fixed date, but we'll see. Here is that news that we were waiting for. 6 terrorists killed in 2 encounters in South Kashmir's Kulgam district. Yep. What do you expect when you lift arms against army? We already read this. In Tamil Nadu, BSP chief Mayawati has demanded CBI inquiry in the murder case of party state president K. Armstrong. Yep. Tamil Nadu is like, it's going down the path of uh, West Bengal and Kerala. I'm afraid to say that, but it is what it is. Things that are going on in Tamil Nadu right now, the increasing. I mean, they are simply just furthering the. Um, what I'm not getting the exact word for this. So basically, they are uh, trying to create fault lines between the north and the south of Bharat. Okay, the core of politics in the south, the so-called Dravidian politics, they are simply just dividing. They're creating these fault lines between the north and the south. So they are of the opinion that Bharat is not indeed uh, you know, a unitary political entity. It's a binary thing. I mean, the north and the south. So that, because they are going down this dangerous path, because if you acknowledge that it indeed is fighting this fake fault line that the north and south are different. So in there was Mayawati is a politician. She is uh, so her political party is BSP, Bahujan Samaj Party. She is very much active in the Hindi speaking belt of Uttar Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and even in the parts of northern Madhya Pradesh as well. Yep. Okay, two persons dead and several persons were feared trapped under the debris of a two-story building that collapsed in Diogar district of Jharkhand. All right, sad to know that. State weather department of Uttarakhand has issued a red alert for heavy rainfall. Colombia have reached the semi-final of Copa America. The extended executive meeting of the Delhi BJP is underway at Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in New Delhi. Okay. As many as 7 people dead after six-story building collapsed in Sachin industrial area of Surat. So there is a building that has collapsed in Surat. I guess might have been an old building, or maybe the construction was rather faulty. So sad, indeed sad. In Kashmir Valley, 5 terrorists were eliminated by security forces in twin encounters in Kulgam district. Austria Chancellor Karl Nehammer has said that he is looking forward to welcoming PM next week in Vienna. All right. We saw this. All right. We seem to have reached the end of this live stream. Okay. For those of you who like such content, please subscribe our channel, like our video, share it with your friends, and remember, it's difficult to beat these media houses that have already established themselves in a position where they are the ones who can break news. They are the ones who can carry these headlines of breaking news. And these days with these days with X, it is very difficult, because the government itself will put it out there before you in the public domain. So we are simply just providing a civilizational perspective, and because we think that it is missing from the mainstream media discourse, mainstream political discourse in our country. And before ending this video, I had to there is something that I need to share with you guys, is this constant, I would say, we have this political language where we talk about the left leaning parties and the right leaning parties. Okay, where exactly does this nomenclature come from? Okay, this nomenclature comes from the West, the Westminster model of parliament, where people on the left benches and people on the right benches, they sat in a certain way, and that is how it was that is how it was described. Okay, because for them, they have this some degree of mistrust in the state and the person or in the governing body that they have. Well, whereas if you compare that with what goes on in this part of the world, we do not have a general mistrust in the government. All right, for us, a ruling authority above us is considered to be sacred. Okay, so there is no left wing or right wing, there is just simply just civilizational wing. Okay, so next time if somebody asks you what is your political leaning, you simply just tell them I am a civilizational person, a civilizational some sort of that. Okay, note, we will end today's live stream. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you guys in the next stream.